Hello everybody, Realm Builder Guy here, and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Imperator Rome and Sparta as we're heading down the stretch here with Sparta and Imperator Rome maybe in general for a little bit of time. I've been keeping my eyes on the active player numbers right now to kind of see how things have been going since the announcement of the ceasing of development, at least for 2021. And I mean, it's definitely gone down. If you look month over month, it's about half. I mean, right now you're looking at maybe around 1,100 peak daily active players, which is, you could almost say about half as much as people that play Victoria 2 right now. That was definitely not the case going back to April and March, where it was much, much higher. In fact, in February, when we had the 2.0 update launch, I mean, it had a huge increase from, around 1,000 at most peak. It was actually more like 800-900, going all the way up to 7,000 during that time. So it's really sad to see, but it is looking like people are just annoyed right now. I think people are just annoyed in general with Paradox, and so we're seeing that. I'm noticing a lot of review bombing, and we keep an eye on that and reading through a lot of the negative reviews, and almost none of it has to do with the game itself. It's predominantly focused on Paradox, and unfortunately that does significantly negatively impact the viability of Imperator itself. So I would discourage you from review bombing negative. In fact, if you're one of the viewers here, and odds are if you are a viewer, you are enjoying Imperator, actually, if you haven't left a positive review, leave a positive review and show them that you do like the game. And maybe add a note in there, hey, the game is amazing, this is all amazing, please pick up development again. I mean, obviously they're not going to do it in 2021, I think that's set in stone, but a positive review would go a long way. So, now with that out of the way, we'll go into terrain mode, and we have a few things we're going to work out. Now, one thing I haven't really done is focus on infrastructure, i.e. building roads. It's just, that's kind of my goal, was get all the Peloponnese and then start developing it further with roads. At this point, I just don't necessarily want to do that. Now, we have a few things here we need to take a look at. We've got political influence. We are at the maximum, so we do need to work on that. We do have stability is down a bit. So what we're going to do here is actually to perform divine sacrifice. I'm going to do that now 2 times. So that will bump up the stability, and the divine sacrifice cost will go up. And there we go. We've used some of our political influence for that. And we can also use invoke devotio, which will drop the war exhaustion a little bit. But that would be not... Nah, we don't really need that. It goes on to tyranny, so we're just going to leave that as it is. There, so that has been taken care of. We do have a scorned family. The Euryclids are currently scorned, whereas the Gallipids and the Penaids are pretty heavy in offices. So let's just look here and look at our offices. Gallipids, let's see here, 9 out of 10. He's pretty close. The Penaids, we said we can switch out. See if we can find someone from the Euryclids who's any good at martial skill. I mean, this guy, what's he better at? He's influencer zeal. Let's look here. This is definitely more for him. I mean, we've got 3 out of 9, Aximanus Penaid. So I think what we're going to do here is put in Athandoros Euryclid, so that kind of takes care of that. Not perfectly ideal, but we've kind of moved on from there. Pretender support, and so on. No worries there. Now I'm going to look at missions. We haven't really done much with missions. And I've been asked, do you just not do anything with missions? I usually do. It's kind of something to be added to it. There are a few things here. Now, we can do recruiting the Skiritai, and here the issue is the territory of Sparta has an average freeman happiness of 85 or higher. Right now it's 51, so you need to boost our freeman happiness to go after this one. Then we have the Sanctuary of Artemis Orthia. We already spoke about that. I don't really believe it's worth spending 200 gold to do that, so we're not going to do that. Now we have Laconian food and Path of Olympia. Path of Olympia means we need to own Lepreon, and we don't. So that is something we could use as a war justification to go to war with Macedon. So this is an area that we want to form a claim on. But I'm not done with that yet. Now we have Laconian food. So what do we need here? We need 10 slaves in a territory and farming settlement buildings. So we're going to take a look at that. And then we can go down here to fortify Sinuria. What we need here, we need fortresses in Kephanta, in Thyrea, and we don't own Thyrea. So that's currently part of Macedon. So that's one way we could go. The bonus, it gives us more freemen. And go expanding infrastructure. So here what we need in the province, we need to add either directed investments, state infrastructure, or free helots as a condition to add to it. We could do that, and then we get to additional province investments. That's something we can do, but first we need to do Laconian food, and then we can take a look at the further ones. So to do Laconian food, we need to find a place ideally with a farming settlement and 10 slaves. So we go through here, we can see we have a farming settlement right here. What we are missing are slaves. So we're gonna move some pops. Let's see, where are we slave heavy? So we've got 6 here. I'm gonna move, let's drop that down to 4. I'm gonna move 1 from here. We're gonna move 1 from here. We still need 2 more. I think we're going to move another one from this wine area and that wine area. And now, as you can see, we can do Laconian food. What does this give us? On completion, Kephanta gets Laconian farms for 120 months. So the monthly food goes up by +1 and food modifier +10%. Githaion gets also the same thing. So we're going to do that. Laconian food. We are to expand our might beyond the borders of Laconia. We will need soldiers who are well fed and ready to fight our enemies. Though we were hard-pressed for food when the Thebans conquered Messenia and released the Helots, we have learned to make the most of what we have. The land will provide for our men. So now, expanding the infrastructure. We need freed Helots, state infrastructure, directed investments. So let's just go to provinces in Laconia. So we have ties business developments, free Helots, or fortify province. Let's see if I remember this correctly. So what we need here, we have province of Laconia has heroic frees, and it needs freed Helots. So we've done commission heroic freeze, entice business, free Helots, fortify province. So if we do free Helots, we spend 72 political influence and additional cost of 20 gold. What does that give us? We get, after 6 months, population capacity plus 1.5%, integrated culture happiness plus 2%, and local freeman output plus 4%. So we're going to do that. Does that mean we have it yet? No. So we just need to wait for that to take place, which will take nation overview. Let's go back here to Laconia, and that will take until 5/29 till July, so about half of the year. Now, for some of our additional missions, so if we want to fortify or do Sciritia, we can't do that. It's the Path of Olympia. So what that means, we need a Lepreon. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go to Macedon. We're going to do covert actions. We're going to fabricate a claim. We're going to fabricate a claim right there. Can we? No. Okay, we're just going to do it right there. It doesn't really matter. It's basically just a claim so that we can provoke a war. So with all of that said, let's pop these bad boys out. You can see that is a 4.4%, so it's still going to be a while until we get there. So I am just going to unpause the game as we move forward. Then, of course, we'll have to raise our levies, bring everybody into the fold here, and move forward. Now, we still have these troops here that we are going to move down here into Sparta. Macedon has called us into a war against Oreos. If we decline the offer. So Carthage wants that. Oreos, are we going to back them in this war or not? I think we're just going to decline the offer. I think we're done with these wars and dealing with these wars. So this disloyal character, he's not going to do much for us. We can give him free hands, which bumps up the loyalty by 20. So we'll do that. Petition, of course, that's what happens then. The corruption goes up. The wealthy residents of Syracusia have sent a formal petition on their behalf to the entire province complaining about the harsh ways of their governor, Tesicrates. So he gains 5 corruption, which is not good, but he would gain loyalty. Send a representative to ensure rules are being followed. So he would lose or remove the miser. So he loses 20 loyalty. Theoretus gains 10 popularity. Sparta gains 1 tyranny, and he gets 10 corruption. So we're going to do that. So scorned families. Influence of the Aegeid family, the fate of the kingdom, and that of the Aegeid family is and always will be intertwined. It is therefore a matter of great urgency. There are currently not enough Aegeid persons of quality ready to shoulder the responsibilities of the state. All right, so let's take a look here. So we have Aristophanes, who is zealous, deceitful, and a benefactor, who's got pretty decent finesse, a little bit of corruption, is very loyal. Or Nabis is 58. No corruption. He's a more rounded guy, but he's inflammation, obsessive. No, I think we will take Aristophanes. And we will bring him into the fold. So scorned families, now we have the Aegeid family. So let's see if we can find an Aegeid governor. So, okay, we could take Tesicrates, who's the one we just removed. We can add Aristophanes, who is zealous, so zeal +1, state religion happiness. Unintegrated culture happiness drops. He's a benefactor. And that's not bad. He's got a little bit of corruption, but not much. Decent statesmanship, so we're going to put him in charge. We're good there with province loyalty. We're going to leave the governor local autonomy. We're going to leave that as is. All right. So let's go back home as these kind of things tick over. Look at diplomacy real quick. Right now we have only Thrace on our side. So the question is, can we add anybody in the war against Macedon? Now Thrace would be great because they would probably invade these Macedonian territories, and as such, draw them into that war. Aratos falls ill. Aratos Aegeid is sent word that he has fallen ill. Okay, interesting. Leave that as is. And let's see. We can do expanding the infrastructure. Perfect. Our nation has faltered under threats from foreign nations several times these last years. We're slowly restoring Sparta to its former glory. No longer will the Thebans, Macedonians, nor Athenians hinder our rightful rule of Laconia. Another step in the right direction. We have gains 2 province investments. All right, let's hit pause here. Now let's take a look. So we can do Spartan ports and Spartan men. So these Spartan ports gives us a territory with a port. We have been approached by a local hero of Laconia who is known for expertise at sea, Asandros Xanthipid. As our navy is growing, we are going to find good use of his skills. Sparta has often been seen as a landlocked nation despite our proximity to the sea. It's time to put an end to that. Perfect timing. Asandros. Okay, and we can do Spartan men. The men of Sparta have been raised as warriors since the time of our grandfathers, protecting our nation from foreign threats and bringing us honor on the battlefield. Now, a new generation of Spartans will have to rise to the occasions as our nation is assailed from every side. They are our pride and glory. Our manpower recovery speed goes up by 10%. Sparta gains Sparta glory for 240 months, so quite a long time. And starting experience up by 5%. And Laconian strength. And we have finished the mission of Spartan restoration. We could still do this here. But we've gone all the way to the end, so do we want to do this? A pop assimilation speed goes up, slave output goes down, cohort starting experience, that's not worth it to me. So we're going to finish the mission. Completing the mission gives the following reward. Sparta gains second rise of Sparta, manpower recovery speed plus 10%, monthly ruler popularity gain of plus 0.05, monthly military experience plus 5%. Spartan restoration. Despite the troubles of the last century, with the appearance of dangerous foreign threats like Thebes and Macedon, the loss of many of our local subjects, and the independence of Messenia, we have once again risen to prominence with Laconia thoroughly in our control, and our friends and subjects once again loyal. We start looking outwards from our local region and towards distant lands, be it Athens, Thebes, the Diadochi, or any other threat. They will not be able to stand in our way. It is time for Sparta to take center stage in regional politics once again. Okay, so now we can go down a few of these. We can do Protector of the Peloponnese, which has long been our goal. A goal of ours to form a hegemony in the Peloponnesus, a league to protect against ambitious foreigners. With all the peninsula under our rule, we would no longer have to fear the Greek city-states and leagues, nor the Diadochi, which will be considered complete when you have taken control of the Peloponnesus. Hospitable Sea. I'm not really digging any of these. I mean, Magna Graecia. We're going to do Protector of the Peloponnese. Start this mission. Let's go up here. Now, religious backing. We can do that right away. Sparta gains a claim on Argos. It costs us 100 gold. We can do that. Arcadian hinterlands gains claims on Herrea, Megalopolis, etc., etc. So we're gonna do religious backing. All right. So now I guess we don't need anything else. Sparta gains a claim, and we can start moving down this way. Perfect. The home of Zeus. I'm not worried about that. So now, if we look here, we can declare a war goal. So take Laconia, we can take Ionia, we can take Arcadia, we can take Attica, but we will not get Thrace to come. They have, its bad stability is an issue, low manpower, and war balance. So they are currently at war. And what we will need to do is not go to war just yet. Because we do need the Thracians. I think that will be very, very important. I think we can cancel the progress on that. We have our claim. So what we're going to do here is actually we're going to start improving our relations with Thrace. Bump that up a little bit further. I mean, it won't gain that much more, but every little bit counts because we do need to make sure that they like us. It's just a small bump. It doesn't cost us a ton of money. We have a lot of money. They are currently not at war anymore. What we could do in the meantime is expand our territory and take these guys, the Nessiotic League. Now, they're currently at war with the Seleucids. They're part of a local defensive league. So the Seleucids... Oh, maintenance. Guards and visitors have pointed out for quite some time that Zeus Temple has started to deteriorate. Now a very prominent visitor from our foreign ally pointed out that our once proudest landmark is decayed and at places damaged. Not only is this affecting the morale of our nation, but it has also diminished how we portray ourselves to other nations. So we must restore the monument to its former glory, and of course we will do that. So let's look at the Seleucids. I mean, they are not at war. So who? Oh, the Nessiotic League is no longer at war. So that war has ended. They are completely isolated. That might not be a bad one to go after. I think if we raise our Greek levies at 6,000 men, that should suffice in taking them. They've got a pretty decent military tech. I mean, if there's a greater issue, then we can always look at that. But let's move these guys. Death, Leonatos has died. We have this guy here. He's a sea dog and an ore master, so we're going to put him in charge of the Nauticon. I'm going to move them into position. Pause here. We're going to go to our military. And we are going to raise that levy. So 6,000 ideally will be enough to conquer those islands and at least, you know, at an even greater level of experience. So we'll put those guys on the ship, move the ship into position. And of course, we will have the next Olympiad. Favorable signs from Olympia. Our first messenger has returned from Olympia bearing good news. It seems the local priests tire of the Argive lives and irreligious attitude and have found favorable omens for our claim to the land. We have tasked the messengers to bring the news to the Oracle of Delphi as well, to pressure her into returning the omens we are looking for. 1 down, 1 to go. Alright, so let's move these guys right over here. Just into a strategic position already. And then I need to quickly look and see. Hold on, let me scroll out here. Let's look at the political map. So it looks like that is part of the Nessiotic League. So we will have to take this province. Ooh, it's a fortress of 4, so we need 8,000 troops. All right, so we will need this levy here. Oh, that's annoying. So let's take the ship over here, pick these guys up, because otherwise we're just not going to have enough to take that fortress. Liberation. The Council of Gortina has taken it upon themselves to free a sizable quantity of privately owned slaves. Intervene if we think it best. Letting slaves get too comfortable could have repercussions. So what is he? He is a benefactor. So the slaves like him. So for freedom, he will do that. That fits his character. All right, so our troops have now moved into position. So where we can move across here and take this fortress city, which is going to be quite the task. We have the manpower. We should be able to do it. I mean, it's twice 2,000 per, so that means we have 8,000 need to do it, and we have the 8,000. So now we're going to declare war and to take Cyclades. And now let's move those troops across there to take the province and begin the war. Here we're going to hunt fleets. So we've got this battle, which we're going to win, but it's going to cost us a lot of manpower, which unfortunately will knock us down enough that we may not be able to complete the siege. That's not good. So we won the battle, but now we can't siege because we don't have the manpower. necessary. Okay, here comes the levy from Asia's coming in now. Alright, so we can... let's do vegetable trade with Egypt. But as our Asian levy from our disloyal ruler or governor or whatever shows up, then we will have the necessary manpower to take this. Alright, so our troops have shown up. Our Asian levies from our disloyal governor, and now the siege begins. Of course, our very powerful navy with the very good admiral is stationed here, so in case their small navy would ever pop out, we can go in and crush them relatively quickly. Veterans do. After war's toil and hardship, it is with hopeful eyes that the veterans of our armies look towards retirement. A life of rural farming with promised farmland often parceled out to the most deserving. Recent circumstances have led to great droves of our retiring soldiers clamoring for this quiet life, seeking counsel from their generals and leaders. Ophelis Panean has been appointed on behalf of our generals to negotiate a complex arrangement whereby we might assuage our tired veterans and yield to them some reward. We should be very wary of what might occur should we refuse. All right, we can offer something at least. So, what does this do? State-owned farmlands is removed from Sparta. The province no longer gets the following effects. Instead, its state-owned farmlands is removed from Gortina, so that drops that. Commanders like bribes, don't they? Yeah, I don't like that. We don't need to support. Okay, so we're going to do this. It hurts our tax, province loyalty a little bit. And Galen Gallipid has died. I also realized... oh, I thought I hadn't bumped up that, but I have. Alright, so we are lacking food from the levies here, but we are slowly but surely making some progress. Arcadian hinterlands. Okay, we now have a bunch of claims against Macedon. A petition. The wealthier residents of Rhodes have sent a formal petition on behalf of the entire province proclaiming... Okay, so we're going to remove the miser. And now we need a new governor. Let me just hit pause here. Things are going way too fast. All right, so this guy doesn't have a lot of corruption. He's a benefactor, good statesmanship, so we're going to put him in charge there. And now head back here. And now at least we have a loyal governor in the region. All right, the siege has been won. Enemy has been captured. Gotta turn down the speed here. Siege of Delos has been won. So, now let's look here. Can we sue for peace? Not yet. Why not? The war score just isn't there yet. Alright, but winning that's already a huge bonus. Let's get our Nauticon to come back here and pick us up, and then we can move down here and start conquering some more lands and actually just win that battle. Alright, so that's expanded. Let's see if we can sue for peace now. Yes, we can. Alright. Pass judgment on the important families, of course. Prisoners abroad. Let's see. Sparta's Seleucid Empire. Ransom prisoner. Let's see. What can we do here to ransom? Okay, they want 65 gold. Yeah, we will do that. And a civil war, since 27.5% threshold of total power base for characters and subjects are disloyal. Civil war will break out in 21 months. Okay, so we got to work on that. The great families of the Nessiotic League. All right, so Sothinis, he's pretty good. He's relatively corrupt, but he's not bad. So we will welcome him. Then we have Macanidas. Loyalty's pretty good. He's not corrupt at all. So we will offer him sanctuary. And finally, Metodros. Yeah, he's alright. No reason to kill him. And there we go. That is now part of Sparta. We've now claimed all of, basically, the islands. We're going to look now at our military. We can disband all of our levies, or take a closer look at what the situation is like here. Who are they allied with? So they're isolated. If we declare a war, Thrace still will not come in. Because we're minus 50, so bad stability. That's got to be Thrace, not us. We've got good stability. Low manpower. This is all coming from the Thracian side is the problem. They have a border, they've got war exhaustion, they've got a war balance they're still working on, and it's minus 50, but the big one is the low manpower. And I just don't think... We're going to disband all of our levies, and we are going to send our legion back home. But what I was saying is I don't think we can, at this time, afford to go to war without Thrace being part of the deal. But we are going to move our legion back home and just kind of park it there. I'm going to go here to our economy. We're going to drop down our army and fleet maintenance. In the meantime, send our Stratos back onto land. And then our Nauticon, you can destroy pirates. Perfect. Egypt wants marble. We will give that to them. And Zanaris Lagid has died, so we need a new researcher. Chill out, people. New researcher and civic. Let's see. This one is pretty good. We've got a Gallipid. I'm going to do this one. Pratatos. Alright. So now let's take a look here. The province of Cyclades. And the Vasilevs is in charge here. We've got full province loyalty. The food is going up. Pop conversion speed, we're focusing on that. That's good. Take the base metal trade. Our legion, we're just going to park them back home in Sparta. In the meantime, and now, Aratatos Aegeid has died of severe inflammation at the age of 37. So we need a title. Influence of the Aegeid family, so we can bring someone in. We've got Nabis, who's okay, and Kallisthenes, who's younger. We'll bring in Kallisthenes, and we will, yes, obviously make him part of our family. Dacian, local power, they want silk, we will do that. So Philosophus, who's currently scorned family, the Aegeids. And Kallisthenes can take over that office right away. Ah, perfect. So things are moving along nicely. We now control, if we look at our islands, I mean, we are the island power of this region with Rhodes, Crete, these outer islands here. The majority of the Peloponnese, we still have that little foothold right there and another foothold here. And then, of course, we are sharing a border with Rome down in Sicily. The goal will be to declare war on Macedon. But we can only do that once Thrace is part of it, and they are just not there. Scientific breakthrough. One of our researchers, Simonides Charidemid, thinks he is just about to make a notable scientific breakthrough. All right, so let's give him everything he needs. So martial advances progressed by 85%. Research points dropped by 35%. We're not going to squander anything. That hurts his loyalty, but we are a military state, and these are martial advances, so obviously we're going to go down that route, and because of that, we're also going to look at our martial advances and see where else we could go. So, according to the planning, we've got military sponsors, so the loyalty of generals will go up. Professional training, so discipline and experience decay gets dropped. Enhanced training round, so reinforcement speed goes up. Then, if I look at our planning, Central Reserve supply limit goes up, and the Army Surgeon. So we're going to go right down here and bump up our supply limit. We're a military nation, and we're going to be dealing with a Macedonian war for the Peloponnese at some point. I just don't feel like we can quite muster it without Thracian support. Let's just pop around here real quick and see if there's anybody that could come in as an ally in this war. Well, my friends, I think we found somebody that we can ally with right now, and that is Carthage. Now, if Carthage goes to war with Rome, that would be an issue. But the nice thing with Carthage is they have a ton of ships. A pretty good population base. I mean, what's our population base? 579. So Carthage would be a very, very strong ally for us to have. That would be a pretty good one. Egypt isn't quite there yet. We need to improve our relations with them, but Egypt is definitely also one on the cards. Cappadocia would do it right away. The problem with Cappadocia, of course, is I just feel like there's a pretty good chance they're going to be drawn into a war with the Seleucids, which would be a problem. They have no ships and military tech of only 3. So they can't even get and help us over here. So that would be entirely pointless. Armenia, they're too far away. They're outside of the diplomatic range. And Rome, well, they're a great power. They won't even consider talking to us. So what we're going to do now is I am going to offer an alliance to Carthage. And then we are going to improve our opinion. Will improve us by plus 76.25 over time. So we're going to improve our opinion with Egypt. Because if we can ally Egypt, which is not outside of the possibility, you know, if it was an option. It was basically said our relations with them aren't powerful enough. And we're also going to improve our relations with Carthage once we can, which will be 6th of January 533. So I'll see you then in a second. All right, we are going to improve our relations, or improve our opinion with Carthage. Spend a little bit of money there. We have the money. So if we can get, I mean, we are allied now with Carthage. They definitely have the ships that they could come over here and help us against Macedon. If we bring in the Egyptians as well, that would be pretty nice. Now, beyond that, we can also look over here. Now, we cannot ally with these guys because they just don't really like us. Now, we can improve our relations again with Lycia, which wouldn't be a bad ally to have to help isolate Macedon over here. The problem is we really need Thrace. If we could get Thrace into it, I mean, Carthage won't join just yet because they have war exhaustion and their own war balance they're dealing with, as well as base stability. We're still off with Thrace. They're working on it. But that is the goal, and I do believe I want to continue with this series at least long enough that we can take on Macedon and win the Peloponnese. I mean, Rome eventually will be a massive, massive problem. We can work on improving our opinion also with our old ally, Lycia. To have them as an ally over here might not be bad either, because they could help us here against Macedon if need be. So we're going to improve our opinion with them, just slowly but surely. The Seleucids, we're going to ask for military access, which they give us. So that way, at least if need be, we could march into Macedon from Seleucid territory, while at the same time keeping them somewhat isolated. Again, Thrace is a huge one because the idea is that the Thracian army would attack these territories right here, and as such would preoccupy Macedon and help split their forces while we are driving in from the Peloponnese. At the same time, ideally, the Carthaginian navy will help destroy the Macedonian navy, cut them off here, and then also bring in some troops. If on top of that we can ally with Egypt, well, that would be even better. They have 109 navy. Now, nobody's quite as powerful as Rome when it comes to that, but having the Egyptians and the Carthaginians on our side will also neutralize a little bit the threat from Rome. So those are some of the ideas I have. I'd be curious to know your thoughts down in the comments. What you think the direction we're going now that we completed the one mission tree. We're looking to conquer the Peloponnese. I think that's where I'm going to end the episode today. Let's see if we can get the Peloponnesian War against Macedon started and done before we hit episode 20 here on the series. Because in my head, I'm kind of saying episode 20 might be a good, nice round number to end this one on and move from there. But I'm still having fun. I hope you are too. Until next time, I'm Realm Builder Guy. And don't forget to hit the like button. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye.